You're watching Soccer Night in Detroit.
And from the grassroots of Detroit soccer all the way to U.S. Soccer's second division, this is Detroit City FC. Goal for Detroit City. What a play by Alec Wasinski.
Monday with the right foot. It's in the back of the net.
Jupe curls in and bangs it in off the post. Antez Jupe, are you serious with that? Header!
In lieu of the fact that ESPN Plus did not want to talk about Manchester City's rousing victory this morning in at the Etihad over Liverpool. I mean, what a great performance that they had. I mean, it was just tremendous, and I'm very disappointed that they didn't talk more about it. I think they talked more about Liverpool.
Well, it was a blowout victory thanks to the hat trick of the mighty Thor.
Erling Haaland finally back on the map, man. About
That's
time.
right.
It's been a while.
I know. The last big-time landmark goal was he scored his 100th goal, I think, fastest than anybody. And then the mighty Thor. I think he's World Cup ready.
I think he is, too. Looking forward to seeing him.
He's going to make some noise.
But you know what? Hey, halfway to. I mean, we're almost to my prediction of Manchester City getting 2 trophies.
Yeah,
so,
they won.
They won
the Carabao Cup, ending any hope for an Arsenal quad.
Yeah, but I mean, getting that FA Cup would be nice as well. So we could sacrifice the Premier League to Arsenal for us getting the. I mean, it'd be nice to get a domestic treble, but you know what? Give them the title, give them the Prem. We'll take the FA Cup, 2 trophies, not a bad year.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
I'll be happy with that. I'll be happy with that. Yeah, we're supposed. This is supposed to be a Soccer Night in Detroit, isn't it?
Yeah, big game today. Detroit City making their second road trip of the year to Rhode Island, hoping to build up some back-to-back wins last week against the Charlottesville Battery and our game against the Flint City Bucks, which we advanced. And we'll get to our opponents later. Rhode Island, oh brother, not good. 0-1-2. That's 0 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses.
And Rhode Island, definitely not the same Rhode Island that we saw the last couple years. A lot of players leaving the Roost over there. Let's see. Noah Fusan's probably one of the last remaining stragglers from that group, and also Koki Vegas as well, the goalkeeper. But players like Albert Dikwa. Albert Dikwa went back to Pittsburgh. Maxi Rodriguez. We'll have a little bit more about him in a little bit. He left the Roost as well. So today was supposed to be a homecoming for him, but he's not going to be in the lineup for Detroit City.
Yeah, Maxi Rodriguez. This was supposed to be the homecoming comeuppance for him, but if you watched the game last week, hamstring issue. Now, when he went down, we all thought it was concussion, but I saw the replay of the game on ESPN Plus last week. And it was a hammy issue. How severe is the hammy issue? We don't know. Yeah,
and it's just been like I said, not good. I saw him on the sidelines Wednesday up in Grand Blanc. He was with the rest of the scratches for the game on Wednesday against the Flint City Bucks, but hopefully it's not too much. Hopefully it's like I said, a temporary bump in the road for him as far as that goes. It won't take too long. However, the other issue that we had to deal with,
freeze the goal scoring record for now.
Yeah. So the other issue that we got physically is Preston Tabor Taka as well. He pulled a groin in the game on Saturday at Keyworth against Charleston Battery. So Danny Dicchio shared some information on both those injuries.
Yeah, Maxi just got a little bit of a twinge on his hamstring, and then Preston and when he took that shot from 50 yards the other day, pulled his groin a little bit. So he got a little critique from the staff in the locker room afterwards, but we're hoping he's going to be a short-term injury as well.
And like I said, hopefully that he'll be back. They'll both be back in the time frame real soon. You hate to, and then obviously losing Michael Bryant, so that moves that injury board. We decreased it by 1 with Aiden Stanley coming back into the fold, but now we add it by 2 with Maxey and Preston on that list.
You don't want to get the match filled up this early again.
Yeah, and like I said, so we're a little bit hobbled there, but we still got the depth that probably could take on this club. But I was looking at the last. They only gave me the last starting 11 there for the for them. But Leo Alfonso is their top-rated player right now for Rhode Island FC. Clay Holstead has got 1 goal on the year thus far. Like I said, we haven't really heard much. Like I said, not much in the way of this. This current squad. Did I mention Noah Fuson? Is he with them anymore?
Noah Fuja, yeah, it's a Leo.
I haven't heard hide or hair from him this year.
We haven't heard much, unfortunately.
6.80 Thought Mob rating, no goals, no assists right now.
No, brother.
Yeah. And JJ Williams, he got himself on the board. He's already got an assist on the board. Alfonso's gotten an assist.
And he lead the team in 17 shots and shots on target 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is not your father's Rhode Island FC we're talking about here, and it explains their record right now. Their form.
Yeah. Well, in the past 2 seasons, and kind of in the first 10 games, they have been traditionally slow starts. Remember, they were 1-7-2 with 1 win, 7 draws, and 2 losses in their first 10 games in their inaugural season in 2024. 2025, slightly better, but they were 3-3-4. Detroit City traditionally on to some hot bad starts. Last year 5-2-3. Last year, that's 2 seasons ago. This year 4-5-1. As far as a hot start, especially early start to the first half of the first 10 games last season. So.
Yeah, and Detroit is on one of those starts again right now. Despite losing to the Indy 11, they have like I said, they defeated Charleston last week. They've taken care of business so far this year in the league right now. And in the Open Cup as well. So wins against Charleston and Brooklyn. Only loss against the Indy 11.
And don't forget that hot fast start again by one guy. Say his name, Darren Smith. This early, man.
4 goals on the year. Yeah, 4 goals on the year. Among the league leaders.
Wow. And guess who's behind? One of the players in the group of 3? Albert Dequa, Chico, with 3 goals for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so right now, like I said, he's showing his form from last year, and that's a good sign. And hopefully that trend continues.
And don't forget Carlos Herrera. We thought he would not be the number 1, but he got the hot.
He's already got 2. Yeah, he's already got 2 clean sheets so far.
And third in goals allowed with a .67.
6-7.
6-7. I forgot that trigger now naming thing. 6-7. Yeah.
But yeah, great start for Detroit. And for what it looks like on paper, it looks like it's going to be an easy opponent today for Detroit City FC. But and these are the things. And plus, this is another situation where, okay, you play 2 games relatively close to home, and then the third game you're on the road. We saw what happened a couple weeks ago, how that scenario turned out as they went down to Michael Carroll Stadium and ended up losing to the Indy 11 by a score of 2-1. So the thing is, how do you avoid to fall into that trap once again?
Yeah, that's a good question. We don't play these games on paper, We played them on the field. So how can you avoid? They're going to Center Bank Stadium, which is a formal home street. Saw crowds there, but how can you not fall in that trap? I mean, you see they're not doing good, but how to make sure the numbers say don't lie.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the fact that, they got to, and I can understand the toil, playing 3 games in 8 days and all that stuff. That's a lot of, and then they'll have another break again before they, play again in a week. And then it's another 3 games in 8 days, obviously, with the Open Cup match that's going to be coming up against Chicago Fire before finally, I believe, taking a break. So looking at the fixture list here for let's see here, next match here. Looking at the fixture list here for Detroit City FC. Obviously, you got the week off. Then they take on Sporting Jacksonville next week at home. Then they host the Chicago Fire before traveling to Pittsburgh again. So that's two games close to home or 2 games at home. Traveling for the third game.
And they take a break after the Pittsburgh game. Yeah, Pittsburgh game.
They take about a 2-week. Well, give or take, if the result of the game against Chicago, it could be more of a week and a half break. So if they do advance, on the 14th at Keyworth. So
yeah, like I said, if you saw the draw. They did drawing priority who may host in round 4, and we were the top 2. Now, the position of us against Chicago Fire was predetermined because Tulsa FC, who is also in our group with St. Louis City FC in the Water Legend bracket, couldn't host a home game because the field they play is shared by the Tulsa Drillers, who plays in the AAA baseball, and they get first priority of because they book their baseball games. You know what I mean? And it would be tough to convert a baseball team into a soccer field, so they can't host. So we get Chicago by default, but when they drew for the home priority, Detroit was the second ball pick. So if we win, the next opponent will be Tulsa against St. Louis here.
Yes, because I believe Tulsa also has a game on those 2 games, or they have ball games on those 2 days scheduled. Although they could probably go to another facility, it has been done before. So, but they do have the top overall hosting priority, but it remains to be seen what happens. So we could have 2 back-to-back. We could have back-to-back Open Cup games at Keyworth Stadium, which would be
perfect for the final season of Keyword. You know what I mean?
We were robbed of that one. We were robbed of having a home game against Michigan Rangers, but
because of the cold, nasty weather.
Yeah, and trust me, I don't know what was worse. Probably standing out there over at over at Don Bachelor on Wednesday, freezing my tail off. I mean, literally getting frostbite on my thumbs. I mean, I could imagine if it was even much colder. And today, we don't break the 50-degree mark again. What is it? Detroit City plays and it has to be automatically less than 50 degrees?
And the Detroit Tigers, who played in front of a monster sold-out crowd yesterday, they get nice weather and the wind.
70 degrees for opening day for them.
Yeah, I saw the game on TV before I had to leave the house. Like I said, it was just, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, can we get some good weather for once? I mean, obviously, the only reason why we wouldn't be able to play soccer is lightning.
Yeah, that's a deal killer.
Other than that, it's like,
And
come
by
on.
the way, one more note before we go down to the other matchup. One player missing from Rhode Island, Hugo Baccarach, not playing today. He got red carded last game, so you probably know when you get a raspberry, get to sit out a match.
Yes, indeed. So we won't be seeing that. Should be, like I said, and him being a defender, one of the top good defenders in the league.
Yeah, and not only that, the big weakness for this Rhode Island team early on, the defense. They have Koki Vegas, one of the best players in
Mhm.
all of USL-C, but without a backing backline, ugh,
Yeah, you're only
you're
good.
talking.
Yeah, you're only good as your back line. That's for damn sure. So, but
So he has to stand on his head today against this
yes,
squad.
and hopefully,
Despite
like
no
I said,
Maxi, the forward room is okay.
yeah. I mean, Kobe Hernandez Foster will probably make a start. I would expect. Um, I'm just trying to think who would probably be up there in the forward position. Maybe an Alex Delu. He's got a hot boot right now.
Oh yeah.
Especially after, I mean, he's got two Open Cup goals already. Got the game winner on Wednesday in Grand Blanc. So he's got a hot boot as well. So could be interesting to see him. He might end up being in the lineup. He's been a sub the first couple USL Championship games, but has been a starter and played the full match against. I think he did. Did he play the full match? I don't know if he played the full match or not against. I'll have to go back and look at my notes from that. But yeah, I don't think he played the full match on Wednesday. So
Yeah, and don't forget Detroit have outshot their opponents in the regular season 46 to 28.
that's a big difference.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely a big difference for them. I'm just trying to see if Delu got substituted here. No, he did not. He played the full 90.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So yeah, he played full 90 on Wednesday night. So, but I mean, we'll see what happens there if he ends up making the starting 11 later on this evening. So no team news. We're not gonna drop a team news video at around 4 o'clock today. So we're just gonna look to the social media for the starting 11s for both these clubs as we go forward. But you want to take a trip inside the USL today?
Yeah, there are some good matchups in the USL-C, including one important match where an old goaltender welcomes his old teammate. Let's roll the opening.
Pittsburgh has not seen a night like this! For the first time ever, the Riverhounds, Eastern Conference champion!
But there's seconds left. And there it is!
Is there any time remaining? No! It's over! Detroit City! Lightning strikes twice! The aim won upset for the second time in 3 years! And they knock out the Shield winner on the opening night of the playoffs!
All right, the first match of the day. You look at this one, and you're thinking this is going to be one of those matchups. It's been like that for the last couple of years with these two squads. And you think marquee matchup. However, this Charleston team has been, let's just say, struggling as of late. They've lost 2 in a row, including to us last a shutout last Saturday at Keyworth, and losing their Open Cup match as well to the Charlotte Independents.
Oh my, yeah. So your question is anything wrong? Like I pointed out last week on Soccer Night pregame, this is a totally different lineup. The stars that made them not one of the top 2 teams last year, they're all gone. You have Sean Stuber and who you got from Pittsburgh, and I don't want to say nothing else, but man, from the game they played against Detroit City, they were literally outclassed last week. So
Yeah,
So how do you find
Yakaza and Suber got the goals.
Yeah.
Have got Yakaza's got 2 goals. Suber's got 1 goal. Malik Foster has not. I mean, even though he got a goal on Wednesday night's game against Charlotte, or or was it Wednesday or Tuesday? One of those things. But during the game against Charlotte, and this has not been a this has not been a Charleston team that's let's just say peppering the board here so far this year for them. Let's see, they have scored a total of 5 goals in the championship this year. Meanwhile, Louisville.
What do we say?
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Top dog of the Eastern Conference. Just just keep it on, basically.
Despite switching up head coach after Danny Cruz went to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Opening up with the win over Lexington, 4-1 victory over Miami FC, 4-2 victory over against our opponent today, Rhode Island FC, and then they only had the 1 goal against Brooklyn on last Saturday. Still a win, still undefeated.
I know this team can't do anything wrong, literally, despite losing star players from other leagues, from other countries. Switch a head coach to another league.
Mm-hmm. Taylor Davila is still back on his MVP ways. 8.0 on the FOP mob. Aiden McFadden is your top scorer with 2 goals. Jansen Wilson also contributing with 2 goals as well. So, more things change, the more they stay the same.
I know.
For that squad.
Should be good. If this is a good match, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another game that is also high on the list is, I mentioned this at the top, Indy versus Philly. Now, usually this would have been a great matchup.
Indy versus Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh, sorry.
Philly, my God. What, they're playing the Philadelphia Union?
I'm sorry. My bad. Against Pittsburgh. Oh, shoot. Eric Dick, seeing his former team that led them to glory, but this time it's going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana, doing okay, you could say. Pittsburgh, despite Aberdeen in the top echelon with 3 goals, not much, and this is kind of like a pseudo homecoming. He's welcoming Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's given up a lot. Pittsburgh has given up a lot of goals.
Huh.
I mean, 3 to Tampa Bay, 2 to Loudoun. Let's see, 2 to Sporting Jacksonville, and I believe it was 3 or 2 against Charleston Battery. They've given up 10 goals this year.
Oh, brother.
And Pittsburgh's known for their tough defense.
Uh-huh.
So, despite the fact they do score a lot of goals.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they have been scoring goals. They scored 3 against Jacksonville, 3 against Loudoun in their matchup. They're still scoring a lot of goals, but they're giving up a lot as well. So it's up to that back line to finally figure something out and solidify something, and and it's going to be hard. I think Eric Dick is going to play to his potential again and make things hard for Pittsburgh this afternoon. I mean, grant you his. He did manage to get the. I'm trying to think. We're looking at his for the last 5 games here. So Dick ended up had to come in the match on Wednesday because of a red card situation in that loss to Union Omaha.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, but
Union Omaha, they lost to Union Omaha.
Yeah, so 2-2 draw. Yeah, 2-2 draw the previous week. Obviously, the 2-1 victory against Detroit City. But that being their only win of the year. So. basically one of those. Basically, it's going to be which team is going to come out on top on that one. We'll see what happens there. One more championship game to look at. We skipped over a little bit, and right, I was going to say rightly so, because we don't really even think about this team. But right now, Miami, they've won 2 in a row. What's going on with that?
Yeah, this is sort of similar like last year before they sunk like a stone, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, well, granted, the last 2 opponents have been Jacksonville and Rhode Island in their wake, but losing huge to Louisville 4-1 on the year, and then they opened up the season with a victory over in Sacramento, though, so they've been doing pretty good. They've got 9 points on the year.
Oh my!
No, not 9 points. They got 10 points so far this
Oh
year.
my!
They're sitting. Wait a minute. Was one of them an Open Cup game? One of them must have been an Open Cup game, because I think
Probably
it's
not,
yeah, it had to have been that loud. I think it was a Loudon game or whatever it was. But yeah, no, right now they're sitting at 8 points. Hartford's sitting at 7 points. Hartford's sitting at 8 points this year. Brendan Burke's got them firing all cylinders again over in Hartford.
Yeah, this is what happened last year with no one-hit wonder. It's not a one-year fluke. He built the team for success this year and could be a factor during the playoff race.
Yeah, the last game they lost, though, I mean, was an Open Cup loss to Rhode Island FC, but they drew against the 11 last week, beat Brooklyn by a score of 2-1, beat Vermont Green in Open Cup play as well, and then they had a draw against the Birmingham Legion. So, but 2-2, 2 wins and 2 draws for Hartford. So not a bad start on the year.
Yeah, I know about that. Yes, I know.
So,
okay. I was about to say there's something I never thought I would do in a sort of the FCApril and all that, including non-USL-C game, and the reason why I'm doing it is these 3 words: know your enemy in round 3. Yeah, I'm putting the MLS match between the Chicago Fire and the Nashville FC into it, because you got to know what Chicago is going to be like when we face them in about a couple of weeks.
And it's a good one. They were talking about this yesterday on WTF, and Greg Berhalter's squad right now in the is sitting in 5th with 7 points, 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw, while Nashville undefeated thus far, 13 points. Including I noticed in there the CONCACAF Champions League, in which they defeated Messi and the boys to
You mean the Pink Pony Club?
Yes, they eliminated them to advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the team. Nashville is you can't say defending U.S. Open Cup champions because of their involvement in CONCACAF Champions Cup and the Leagues Cup. They are not eligible to join in the U.S. Open Cup. That being said, though, they are playing.
I forgot.
Yeah,
because of MLS treating the Open Cup like, okay, this is sort of like the Worthless Cup.
Yeah, they're treating it like a Mickey Mouse Cup, where people, we know the real deal. They treat the. I mean, if you're treating a competition in which all of the Liga MX teams have to come to the United States as a bigger cup than your country's competition, yeah, that's a huge problem in my eyes. But I digress.
I'm going to treat it like the old machine from the old PBF series Best Will 2, when you gave a wrong answer, it's like.
Precisely. But regardless, Nashville, great start on the year thus far. But the one thing to look at for Chicago, and we're talking about know your enemy, Hugo Kuipers. He's got 4 goals on the year thus far. And Hugo Kuipers pretty much dictated the way things went down at SeatGeek Stadium last year in the round of 32.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, basically they're their top scorer right now. Bamba's got 2 for them as well. Kuipers has got 8.08 rating right now on FOTMob. So he's the one guy to watch, for the Chicago Fire, indeed. So good game to watch. Good game to watch if you have Apple TV. It's on there tonight.
Yeah.
8:30 start after all the USL Championship action that's going to be going on. Now, a lot of big games on the early docket today.
I know, yeah. So, like I said, apologies, we have to add an MLS team, but remember, we have to know our enemies before the big game in about a week and a half. And can you believe it? The former U.S. national team coach is coming to the neighborhood.
Is it wrong if I ask him about his son?
I presumably would not be a good question.
I think he'd be proud of it. The way he's been playing.
All right.
We're talking, Sebastian Berhalter has been, phenomenal. He's been great for Vancouver FC. Outside shot looking in at playing for his country in the World Cup. So, I don't think that'd be out of bounds.
I know. Okay.
If I were to ask him anything, but that,
like I said, it will be a good matchup tonight and a good matchup in a couple of weeks. So, what else?
We got somewhat of a good matchup this afternoon, and getting closer to you. I got pulled ahead. We both won, obviously. We both got the 3 points on, the head-to-head, on the picks. But I'm pulling closer to you on that pick the boot with Alex DeLue's performance the other night.
Mm-hmm.
So one behind there on that. We're getting it on. We're doing well on the Open Cup as far as that goes. Our pick the boots have been doing well in the Open Cup. On the USL side of things, not so much.
Okay. Okay.
But needless to say, how do you see this one?
I am going to say a 2-1 victory for Detroit City over Rhode Island. I think they're going to have a good, strong start, scoring 2 goals. I would say the Rhode Island goal will be late. And do I have to say his name for my pick the boot? Darren Smith.
If you want to stay ahead, I have to go.
You notice on WWE programming, every time they have to mention they're trying to face off Joe. Don't say that name, Joe Harry. Rhode Island is not trying to prevent saying his name, but I think his name will be said, and his name will be on the score sheet as a goal. So I'm saying his name.
So, all right, I'm looking at it. I think Detroit City comes away easily with this one. I'd say it's going to be another clean sheet for Herrera this afternoon. But I can't go Darren Smith.
Yes.
I could go Darren Smith and just keep things a little bit even, but my mind says I can't do that. However, I'm thinking along the lines. Without Maxey, it's going to be Kobe running the offense there. I'm not sure if DeLue's going to be coming out there. I'd give props to the hometown kid if I needed to. He's been on a hot streak as well. But I'm gonna go with Kobe on that in absence of Maxey. I think he'll get his name on the score sheet one way or another, whether it be a goal or an assist. So, needless to say, we got like I said, another afternoon game here, another below 50-degree game.
The game is at 4:00, and the only location you can see this game is on ESPN Plus. No local TV. That's the only way you could see
No
it.
TUDN, not until a couple weeks from now, I guess.
Yeah, we have to have still working hard and getting
Or no,
somebody to
next week. Next week. No, next
somebody,
week.
anybody.
Next week we're on TUDN again.
Oh yeah,
We're Sporting Jacksonville.
I presume they love us on Today DN.
2DN. Yeah, they love they love us on there. Yeah, maybe we could get Jaime to, I mean, would he feel like doing that?
I don't know. Well, if I remember the early days of the early Univision or Spanish International, that was the first time, and they didn't even have a score bug. I drove my brother crazy watching soccer in the Spanish language, literally.
The great Andres Cantor.
Yes, Andres Cantor. Yes, I would think of another announcer before Andres Cantor, and but his name doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, Andres Cantor is legit, and his son's pretty good too.
I know.
His son's
Do
pretty
we
good.
still commentate? Do we still commentate on Univision or don't?
Who? Or
Andres
Andres?
Condor.
Andres? Yeah, he's
Okay.
still doing it for Telemundo.
Yes, and he's going to be on the call for the World Cup in about a couple of months.
Yes.
Let's hope he survives the World Cup from hell.
Yep. So we'll get together for after hours later on tonight via the Zoom because, well, I mean, we got a lot of stuff to cover in the, obviously this one tonight and other stuff that's going on in the USL Championship. Might even take a peek at that Chicago game.
Okay, yes. I will be at the clubhouse. It's an early game, believe it or not.
I know, 4 o'clock. It's super
4 o'clock. So after that, I could get to the bus back home, and I'm fine.
Yeah, we'll get together. Yeah, we'll get together for after hours. Maybe hash out a couple of the scores from around the sea and whatnot. A couple of those early games, we'll talk about that as well. Obviously, we're going to have the whole package, but we're not going to, we might discuss a couple games from around the sea. Probably those 4 o'clock. Probably those early kickoffs for sure.
Okay.
So those other kickoffs. Alrighty, then we will talk to you after hours. For Steve over in Hamtramck.
Good day. Have a nice day. Be good and be careful.
Alrighty, we'll see you tonight after hours. Until then, folks, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the galaxy, and most of all, be good.